And welcome back from the break, everybody. And we are here. We finally made it to the finale of the accessibility showcase. Going to be talking about Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. And I do need to make a correction because before the break, I said all bolts. That is impossible to actually happen because there are just a ridiculous amount of bolts. What I meant to say there was all gold bolts, or as BDUT has told me, it's on New Game, right? Not New Game Plus. So just a full clarification there of what the category is that we're going to be doing here. But BDUT is here with me, and I just want to say, how's it going? Welcome.
It's going well. How are you doing?
I'm a little bit tired. It's been a long day, but no, I'm happy that we're closing with one of my favorite game franchises of all time, Ratchet and Clank. And Rift Apart, came out recently for PS5, like last year, so fairly new. And I was talking to you a little bit before the stream. This is like your first foray into Ratchet and Clank speedrunning. Is that correct?
Yes. So I started speedrunning just last year. Right after Rift Apart came out in June 2021. And I've been running it ever since. Pretty much haven't been stopping.
The grind never stops.
it never does. I've been running all the categories in Rift Apart. I've been in like the top 3 for the most part, and right now I have the world record in New Game Plus and all gold bolts. And all gold bolts, as you said, is what we're displaying today. And I'm joined here with Nautical Turtle, and he's also one of the top runners of the game.
Hello, as he said, very true. I am top 3 all of the main board categories. I hold the any % world record as of recently. Wow. And a couple of the category extension world records too.
Yeah, so we might say you two are pretty good at the game, but we also, are highlighting this game because, Insomniac recently has been doing a lot of good stuff in terms of accessibility. I wanted you to give a brief overview of that for Rift Apart and, what the developers have been doing to, try and just open up the game to as many people as possible.
Yeah. And Insomniac has given us such a wide range of accessibility options in this game. It's actually insane. And we utilize a lot of them in the run. So I can go into show off a little bit of the accessibility options right now before the run.
Please do. This would be great.
So in the settings, you can see at the bottom here, there's a tab dedicated just to accessibility. And the first thing I want to show off in here is the presets tab. So if you're not sure exactly what settings to turn on and off, there is just presets for vision, hearing, and motor help. And
this is so neat.
This is really neat. It's extremely helpful.
Yeah, mind you, we laid out all of the options all together on a document, and there's 4 pages of just options to toggle.
Yeah, we could be here for so long if we wanted to go into depth on every single setting. But yeah, you can kind of get a sense of a lot of the most common settings over on the right there. For the motor accessibility preset, we have different aim, auto aim modes and aim assist modes. A lot of settings that will help redirect where the camera is going to be pointed. A lot of toggle buttons, so you don't have to just hold the button or actively pump it. And there's a very, very cool feature that I want to show off, which it's also kind of prominent in Miles Morales and The Last of Us Part 2, but there's these contrast, visual contrast options, which will allow us to, let me get there, kind of change and highlight different stuff in the background. So I can turn on this setting and everything kind of goes black and white, except for stuff that's interactable. So yeah, I can break the box.
That is so cool.
I can see that the rifts over there is interactable. The vendor over there, I can go interact with her. And yeah, this is very, very cool.
Now, we are going into speedrunning. I wanted to know, like, what is the community's general, stance on, like, all of these options? And I was like, can you just do runs with these options on, with these, like, contrast enhancers on to, help people speedrun and, be competitive on the leaderboards? Or are there certain things that you can't use? Or is most of the stuff, like, I guess, allowable for, different leaderboards?
Yeah. So there's nothing that's like banned or anything like that. You can go ahead and turn on whatever settings you want in these settings here. There's some settings that would be much more helpful to you than others, but like we've had runners in the past have like these contrast options on as they've been running them. And today I'm going to be doing the run with these visual settings on too. And it's gonna be great. There's also some settings that we utilize very well. For instance, let me find it: the shortcuts and the game speed. So what this allows us to do is we can actually bind stuff to the D-pad. So it's actually like optimal for us to bind certain stuff to the D-pad and allows us to perform a lot of tricks. So if you don't like set up these settings for yourself in the run, you're going to be kind of like at a disadvantage. So we definitely utilize accessibility options and like encourage you to set up these settings. But yeah, for any specific settings, we're not like banning anything like that.
That's super awesome to hear, and I love that. The leaderboards and although you can speedrun anything, obviously it's not all about leaderboards, but I think it is like really special that I don't know who the mods are who takes care of that, but it's really special that you allow all this stuff because I think this is really important for the hobby. So this is excellent news to hear, and it makes me very happy.
Yeah, and like a lot of this stuff, like for the shortcuts here, this is like the optimal setup, and we'll go into more in depth in the middle of the run of why all of this stuff is very important to have. But I want to quickly show off basically just a few more of these. So like melee mode, you can have this option on to allow you to just press one button to do a combo of buttons. And if I turn this on, you can see that in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, it actually displays the icon. And I can only press square once and it'll do a combo. And there's like, probably another half dozen of these sort of icons that you can toggle on and they'll appear in the bottom right there. But yeah, I wanted to show off that real quick.
There is actually a pretty hefty number of accessibility options we have turned on that are required in the run, like hover boot, auto pump. Normally you have to manually sort of pump up your charge boots by pressing L2 while holding R1. But with auto pump on, it just automatically does it for us. And then we can actually reach full speed instantly with a backwards wrench boost.
That's awesome.
Stuff like that.
Another thing I wanted to show off real quick is this off-screen ledge guard. Now, we don't utilize this in the run at all, but it's still like a very cool feature that Insomniac put on. So if I'm looking at the edge here, I can just jump off and fall off. But if I'm looking away from it, it'll catch me. And this works very well in all instances of the game.
Oh, yeah. So if like you have your camera off, you don't accidentally run off the edge. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so neat.
Which we're all
I don't know
really
how this works,
to
but this is great.
platforms.
Yeah. Let me see. What else did we have on our script? Nautical.
Do you show that individual items can be colored individually, like heroes, crates, and all that? Yeah.
Yeah. So, it should be on. Why is it not on?
I think it's because you have high contrast on.
Oh. Okay.
And then we also have like high contrast outlines too, so you can see sort of this. It's almost like a cell shade effect, but there's a sort of black border around Rivet. So a lot of the characters and things, they will stand out like a lot better over certain objects.
Yeah, so this is kind of like how we're going to be doing the run, having these colors on to show us. So like green is like the hero you're playing as, blue is the allies that you have, yellow is like boxes that you can break, and then anything purple is just anything interactable. I might be doing a slightly different color scheme when we start the run, but yeah, for the most part, it's gonna be really cool to see the game like this.
And I've actually, since we've been going through these settings, I actually started using them in my runs too, because there's some instances where Ratchet or Rivet are like really far away from the camera and they could be hard to see. And then with those really high colors and high contrast, we're able to see them better. On top of like enemies too, if you color the enemies a certain color, if they're really far away, and like say you left someone alive in a certain area, and you can go and find them a lot easier too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of. I knew this game had a bunch of features for it. That's why I have it on in the showcase. But I did not know the extent and that it went this deep. And I am impressed. I am very impressed.
You could change everything.
Yes. And I'm glad we're seeing more games head this direction. It just keeps on going. It keeps on going.
Yeah, we could probably be here for hours just talking about this. We'll talk about a lot of it during the run too, but and yeah, like there's a lot of stuff that you can customize too. So like with the HUD elements, making them different sizes, subtitles themselves. There's a lot of settings here to customize them as well.
Yeah, those are nice. We actually do use subtitles a lot for some dialogue-based things as well. So.
Yeah, this is like, thank you so much for like going through and just giving us a rundown of all the things you can do in this.
Yeah,
and you can actually, it's so in depth too. You can change every individual button on the controller too, and rebind everything. And there's some other settings like simplified traversal where they put all of the complicated stuff into one button, which is circle, and it's very nice as far as some things go.
Wow. Well, I'm going to, the run is in your hands now, so you can continue to talk about this as much as you want to, or go ahead and start the run. The call is yours, and I'm just excited to see this run so much.
Yeah, I'm really excited to show it off too. If you, Nautical, I don't know if you want to show anything. If there's anything else we want to show off here in the demo, if we want to start with all the pre-run stuff.
Yeah, we can start the pre-run stuff. Just make sure we touch on the speedrun settings, which were actually included in a patch by the devs, which is very cool. And also, they actually added, there's a cutscene skipping, which normally we had to do with the start button. And then scroll down to skip cutscene and then press X. But they actually included into the shortcuts a cutscene skip shortcut. So all we have to do is just press a button on the D-pad, which is really cool.
So here, let's see. Yeah, so let me... So when we start a new game here, we can see a few settings here. One specifically that they've added is the speedrunning settings. They added this in after like the first or second patch of the game. And this allows us to do, there's just a few things here where it'll help us in any percent when we're leveling stuff up, because usually we go through like a slow-mo effect when we level up and stuff. And like when the weapon wheel, when we open it up, it usually pauses the game. So now we can have the game running in full motion without slowing down at all, which is really, really nice. Let's see. I guess I wanted to show off a little demo of how we use kind of like practice files too in the game. So, which is, it's really nice that Insomniac allows us to do this, but you can, whenever you go into a load file, you can load the game, and there's like a lot of like backup saves here. It kind of saves whenever you get to any like major checkpoint in the game, not just any checkpoint. So whenever you have a new big quest update, either main quest or side quest, you get these backup files. So something that we can do is we can use L1 to copy the file, and we can literally choose any of these backup files to load up. So I'm gonna load up this one if I wanted to practice it.
And these go back 18 slots, which can be roughly about 3 levels, which is nice for practice if you want to practice all the levels in a long chain, or even just if you want to practice one thing a bunch of times.
Yeah, I feel like it wouldn't be a Ratchet and Clank game without like charge boots, hover boot shenanigans, you know?
Yeah, wrench boots are great.
Yeah. Wrench boots are the literally the like main aspect of this game that I love so much.
And one of the things I love too is that with the inclusion of the slow-mo buttons, we use slow-mo as one of the D-pad shortcuts. It's actually the slowest slow-mo setting is the fastest for a wrench boost. So
Yeah.
slow is fast in speedruns. And it's super convenient for doing some hard to pull off strats, or even if you're just struggling with something in general, having slow-mo there is incredibly nice to work with.
Oh no, deleting the save.
Gotta make room for the run. Yeah, I hope I'm not forgetting anything else nautical. Do you think we should be good to go? Or did you want to touch on anything else?
No, just you could show off the controller layout thing if you haven't already. I don't remember.
Yes.
And then,
I think we covered that a little bit earlier. That's super cool. You can customize every button. Always a welcome addition.
And
Yes.
I think we are good to go.
Okay. So there are some pre-settings that I have to go through every time I start a run. So I'll kind of like explain those a little bit right now. But when you start a new file, you have to choose your difficulty. We always go with the easiest one, so because enemies take the least amount of health, and also compared to Rookie Recruit and Rookie Explorer, you cannot die on Rookie Explorer, which is a nice little touch.
Well, you can die, just not to enemies.
Yeah, you can like fall off ledges and stuff, but yeah. And then when we start the game, we always make sure that we start off on the performance RT graphics mode. We'll be changing graphics mode like throughout the run. It kind of like works as a restart checkpoint. We'll explain it a little bit more in depth later, but we usually start in performance RT, which RT stands for ray tracing, by the way. Then we always have to we always make sure that the waypoints display is always on, which is kind of like where you're supposed to be going and like how many meters away the waypoint is. It really helps us know like when the when an objective updates and when we get checkpoints. So seeing that in real time is great. And then the other thing we have to do is kind of like remap our controller bindings at the start of any percent run or AG or all gold bolts run. So what I do is I change my controller binding for the down D-pad to R3, and R3 is basically how I trigger the slow-mo shortcut for wrench boost and everything that we're going to be doing during the run. So that's the one controller binding that I change. Okay, and I think we're going to be ready to start here. The run starts after you skip the third cutscene, so let me get that set up.
All right, just give us a countdown.
All right. Okay. Here we go. On go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Woo, yeah, let's go.
We have begun.
And yeah, it's what's very interesting is every runner sort of has their own custom settings, and you can tell when you go in between all the different streams. Like I personally don't change my controller layout, and then we all have different D-pad shortcuts bound to different things. But yeah, it is the amount of customization is incredible.
You can see a lot of purple and green right now. All those balloons you see, you can technically bounce on. It's supposed to highlight interactable objects. Yeah, so the beginning, we have like a little like minute where we're just going down here. But we have like an insane trick coming here after we get the blast pistol. And we usually call this, we don't have like a great name for it, but we call it CMPMA. And it's like an acronym for like create menu photo mode abuse, which you'll see me do right here. And it basically pulls the other island over to us.
Oh, that's neat.
And this is the only instance that it works, to our knowledge.
Yeah, we have no other idea where if we can pull this off anywhere else in the run. We've tried, but yeah, this is the best use. So we kill that gun, then we can restart checkpoint, and then we're here. So yeah, there's a lot that happens there.
And then just to backtrack a little bit, there's 3 visual settings in the game. There's Performance RT, which is basically 1080p over 4K, which would be the fidelity mode, but it plays in 60 FPS. And then there's Performance, which plays in 60 FPS without ray tracing, and then Fidelity plays it in 4K 30 FPS. And each sort of visual setting has its own strengths and weaknesses, but we mostly play on Performance RT or Performance because of the 60 FPS give us the best wrench boost, whereas in Fidelity, for example, we do a strat called backwards wrench boosting, where we basically do like a mini wrench boost but without any walls, and that is the only thing that's faster, I believe, in 30 FPS, aside from some other small things.
Yeah, even on performance mode, going for that higher frame rate, it should be illegal how good this game looks.
It is.
I was saying this beforehand.
Remarkable.
Anytime I see this game, I was just like, wow, this game looks fantastic.
It makes it so enjoyable to run too. Yeah. We have quite a big trick right here. It's called the infinite jump chain. So where you can abuse the photo mode as a shortcut on the D-pad right here to give us infinite jumps whenever we wrench slam. It's kind of a complicated technique, but it's insanely cool. The explanation right there was a little bit rushed, but painting those back together are actually quite difficult.
Yeah, so when we say photo mode abuse, we're basically opening the photo mode shortcut out of the map, which you see is what opens first. And it basically pauses the game after like a 1 frame delay, but the game continues still while in photo mode. So all the animations play out, some of the NPC dialogue stuff continues, and you'll see it a bunch in the run. But basically, when we IJ, we just do that sort of wrench slam in midair, and then when we do the photo mode abuse, the game finishes the hyperstrike animation and leaves us in a grounded state midair. So that's how we just do a bunch of those jumps.
And I'll be doing another one here in a second, right here, to go under this train. So there we go, doing another infinite jump. And something in the any percent categories that we have to get to is get the raritanium to upgrade our weapons during the run. Something that we don't do in NG+. And also I just used that train to kill that kill a ship that gave me a checkpoint. It was kind of hard to see, but yeah. But yeah, this because this is all gold bullets, it's an any percent category. We have to collect raritanium and bullets to get new weapons and upgrade our weapons throughout the run. We don't want to be spending too much time getting too many weapons because that's a lot of menuing and will waste a lot of time.
B-Dad and I spent a good amount of time doing a full reroute for this game recently that dropped any percent and AGB world record by 3 minutes each, I think, roughly. And it's all based off of sort of a weird ammo manipulation that we found, or sort of, I guess it's more like how the ammo drops work in this game, and then also how the leveling works, which is different off of some of the other older Ratchet and Clank games. Normally your weapons gain XP or level up by when you kill an enemy, but this game actually levels weapons up based off of every time you hit an enemy. And then there's scaling on the bosses too. So when we hit a boss or any enemy with more HP, we get more XP. And then another really cool thing is whenever a weapon levels up, we get full ammo. And then anytime you restart checkpoint, which is what you'll kind of see in the beginning of this run a lot, is when we restart checkpoints, it refills our ammo too, which makes a lot of these fights kind of nice to do.
Look at how much stuff is going on in the background.
Yeah.
There is so much going on. Yeah. Nautical here, he basically perfects Mega, which is this first level in the game. Like, he's the best at Mega in all instances. Like, I cannot ever get as fast as him in all these levels.
I've spent a lot of time on this level, I will have to admit. I think I've gotten, in NG+, I've gotten underneath 6 minutes and 20 seconds 3 times ever, and I'm the only person to do it, and then I'm the only person to ever go under 7 minutes 30 seconds for this level.
Incredible.
And right here, we're going through basically an unskippable sequence that lasts exactly a minute long from when you kill, when you defeat Nefarious there. So we already know like how long this first split's gonna last once we defeat Nefarious. But we split when the title screen pops up here in about like 30 seconds.
There isn't too much downtime in this run. There's like this 1 minute auto scroller and then an elevator that we actually still have to do stuff on, so it's not technically an auto scroller anymore, and then one more towards the end.
And one thing I should note is there's 3 cutscenes right here. I'm skipping them all with the shortcut button. You might have just heard me hit my spacebar because I do that subconsciously because that's where I split. I'm not actually timing myself on my PC right now, so.
Our timer has you at about 8:04, a little round, just over 8 minutes right now.
That is not bad at all.
I saw a question in chat that was like, why is Ratchet blue? And
Why
the reason
not?
there, yeah, I'll let one of you two explain it again.
One of nature's mysteries. It's just one of the many high contrast settings where we can change all objects in the game to different colors to sort of stand out better for us.
Yeah, so we definitely wanted to showcase this in the run today. A lot kind of happened when you saw me go through that crank, and then I went into the settings and changed my graphics mode. So a lot happened there. What we basically used was the wrench swing combo, and that allows us to move during cutscenes, and that moved us forward enough to get the checkpoint. But then we couldn't restart checkpoints, so what we did was we changed graphics modes, and that resets the checkpoint for us. So yeah, a lot of stuff just happened there.
Yeah, we'll actually do that, I believe, 3 times in the run. We basically just use the visual settings to force change the checkpoint, which is really cool, especially if you like click on the wrong planet when you're in your ship. So you don't want to like fly to that all the way to that planet, get back in the ship, and then fly. You could just change your visual settings and then jump back in the ship. So any kind of like major mistakes you make are not too bad most of the time.
Okay. Oh, that guy. Okay, we hate these guys because they almost hit us, and if they hit us, we have to redo that whole spinning the crank.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I saw that one coming for you. So. Was that a close call?
Yes, that was a very close call, actually. But yeah, we've like memorized exactly which enemies to kill with the order to kill them in. When restarting checkpoint will put us a little bit closer, like there. This is where we get Phantom Dash. So we do this sort of technique of doing a dash, jump, dash, and that's the optimal movement with the Phantom Dash.
Oh yeah, and something we kind of just like blazed over was there is a tech we do with these swing shot orbs called flings that was found kind of recently, and so that's why when you see us like bouncing away from this green orb, we're pretty much just doing an infinite jump animation away from those, and we get a ton of speed and height from them.
Yeah, you'll see one again right here.
Rooftop. How do I get to that rooftop?
So that just pushed me forward like. That just like saved like 5 seconds.
That was a good one. And then
we found that like a couple of months ago.
Yeah, and it was already sort of known, but the way it was done was not like sort of perfected. We didn't really know how it worked, so we spent a little bit of time going in depth with those. And then we only used them 3 times in this run, and then I think in 10 GB, one of the 10 gold bolts, one of the category extensions, we used it like 7 or 8 times.
Wait, you can see me? Where are you? You got my starship ready?
You'll get it, don't you?
Got a good color set here. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, we just skipped another 15-second unskippable right there too by jumping into the checkpoint early. There's very few unskippable cutscenes that we're able to, or that we have to sit through in this run, thankfully. I think it's just 2 on Sargasso and then another 1 or 2 here and there.
I just did a technique that's called dialogue mute. Basically, you can open up the menu during a piece of dialogue during certain pieces of dialogue. And basically, if you open up the share menu from the PS5, while you open up map, it kind of like cuts off the dialogue. So the audio seems kind of distorted right now, and you're not hearing the music and stuff right now.
It's not a problem on your end. Trust us.
Yeah, it's not a problem on Twitch or anything, or your live stream. But yeah. But it basically allows us to get this cutscene to pop up faster without having to wait on the next set of dialogue to all be all income.
All I gotta do this is fast.
Yeah, and we use it 2 or 3 more times in the run, and there's actually a ton of other spots that we could do some more testing with to make things progress faster. But it basically just sort of deletes that character's voice lines, so we just don't hear him anymore.
So is jumping on that rail faster, or is that just no?
Oh, usually it is not on that specific rail. I'm just in the habit of jumping on rails. But yeah, usually if you jump on rails, it'll carry your momentum of what you have. So if you get on a rail at a very fast speed, you want to keep jumping so you don't lose that momentum. Yep.
Yeah, that rail is the only rail with a set rail speed.
Interesting. I wonder why that is.
Yeah,
I think it's to fit the dialogue in, if I had to guess. But yeah, all the other rails are very interesting with those properties. And there is actually a couple of instances where we carry a bunch of speed onto some rails, if we don't avoid the rails altogether entirely.
Okay. So normally this isn't part of the normal NG plus or any % route. We have to go here for the gold bolt. So I'm gonna go over here, go up here, and here's this gold bolt. And we have to wait for this animation every time, but I get ready to restart checkpoint as soon as the loading icon in the bottom right shows up. I'm keeping my eyes on the bottom right of the screen like 95% of the time just to see that I've hit all the checkpoints in the game. This game is very heavy on like required triggers and going through every checkpoint. So yeah. And this guy can be a little annoying. I try to... Ooh, I actually killed him. So in that phase. Otherwise, he usually gets at like 5% here, and I have to kill him right there. But he gives us 3 raritanium for upgrading weapons. And we've like mapped out exactly what raritanium we need to be looking for. So we like make sure we have just this right amount of raritanium for every time we're going to be upgrading a weapon. If we miss a raritanium, we're kind of well, I mean, in all gold bullets, it's actually more lenient.
This category is very lenient.
Yeah, because we can pick up a few extra raritanium with no time loss. But yeah,
there's a bunch of extra raritanium in some areas that we wind up going to get. But the any percent category is very tight. Pretty much every time you buy upgrades at a vendor, you're at like a 0 or 1 raritanium.
Used it to bring you here?
All right. So now we're playing as Rivet.
I was gonna take you to my hideout, but first
We're just going to be chaining a lot of Phantom Dashes together to try and get to this pocket dimension here. And up here in this pocket dimension, which are these like little levels and puzzles within the game that you can access, basically we're going to be doing this like tiptoe strat that we call it, which basically it's we go in here, we tiptoe on the ground to save our last position, or we save our last position, and then we make sure we only tiptoe to make sure that we can get over here, get the checkpoint, and then might have messed it up. Nope, we're good. So then it sets us back here because our last save position was at the top of the rift.
Yeah, so if you touch the ground for longer than like half a second, the game will update your last known position. So we basically just tricked the game into thinking the last known spot we were there was at the top of that portal. So that when we sizzle, the game sort of teleports us back to that spot. And there is some areas that don't have sizzles and some that do, so it gets a little bit tricky. Otherwise, you'll just like instantly die. But
I love that that's called sizzle.
Yeah, we love that name.
Me too.
I have an emote for it and everything.
And yeah, we do all these fights a sort of very particular way to make sure that our weapon XP doesn't get too much or too little, so that in certain boss fights coming up, we'll actually level up. So we won't have to rely on the ammo crates because they can be sort of random, but also not really. And we're still trying to figure it out. But as far as we know now, with the way the current route is, if you have 2 weapons, which we do right now, we have the Burst Pistol and the Shatter Blast. The Shatter Blast being one of the best weapons in the game that we get really early. You saw we bought it on level 1. But if you break a box and you have no Shatter Blast ammo, but you have a ton of Burst Pistol ammo, it will, like 99% of the time, drop the Shatter Blast ammo until you start to get sort of different guns and stuff like that. So for now, we actually just keep the Shatter Blast all the way up to the start of Blizzard, where we buy our second weapon. And that helps us with a ton of fights because it basically guarantees us the ammo drops that we need for this specific weapon.
Okay. And there's like a lot of combat here, so I'm like, well, that's not working that well. Hold on.
Yeah, a lot of these sections can be combat heavy, so having a good understanding of how the weapons work helps a ton early on.
God, I love those
Just happens.
that was the last fling, and in my opinion, probably one of the coolest.
Yeah, yeah. It's we just go to a whole different island. But yeah, normally you're supposed to take like a speedle to ramp over here, but we just completely ignore that and take a swing shot fling to get to this spot. There's slow-mo that activates there, and I just open the pause menu and close this to disable this pause menu. So here we need to get on this beetle, the Secrepede's back. So I just do a little shortcut right there. That usually takes much longer. You have to usually wait a while and then wait for a ramp to go up on his back. But and then here we just have to rely on, you can see in the top right, I'm level 4 on the Shatter Blast, and I just went to level 5. Whenever you go up a level, it refills your ammo, so that's intentional that we do that during this fight.
And we use the boss to break some of the ammo boxes too in some of these fights, which is cool.
And we do a PMA here because the boss will be closer, and then I can fire and instantly go to the next phase. Otherwise, he would be too far away and I couldn't damage him. But yeah, you just have to like damage his like.
It's a big hitbox on the back. Yeah. And you can actually, in the first phase where he rode up the side of a rock wall pretty much and landed on him, you can actually use the wrench swing combo to get off of the Secrepede. It's just not as consistent, but you can throw a Shatter Blast at him from underneath and it'll work too. Yeah, you got really good ammo drops here.
Oh, come on. There we go.
Yeah, nice.
Now we can help out the more.
And then
Whatever that thing
one of the things I guess we didn't touch on is when he's dashing and then jumping at the end of his dash. Normally when you phantom dash, there's like a little animation you play when at the end of the dash you sort of stop on your feet. But jumping right at the end cancels it out. I think all of us that were playing it casually figured that out. So if you dash, jump, and then immediately dash again, it works out pretty good.
Something that I just did right there is that you're supposed to do an anomaly puzzle with Clank, and fortunately, Insomniac gave us the option to skip puzzle, so we don't have to waste extra time doing the puzzles in this game.
Yeah. We totally blasted past that in Nef City too. We skipped one of the glitch puzzles. Yeah, it is a blessing for speedrunning for sure.
There's probably 8 instances of those total.
Here we go.
Oh,
Cutscene
I
warp.
gotta do the cutscene warp here. I'm
Cutscene
usually
warp.
awful at this. Oh, okay, it worked.
Wow, you're really high. Okay.
Yeah, I got a lot of height there.
So with the new addition of having cutscene skipping attached to the D-pad, we can actually hold forward and R1 and like spam X and then press the cutscene skip button and it just flings us forward. So we actually get to use that like 4 times in the run, and it gives us an absurd amount of speed. It's crazy. So it looks like a warp, which is why we call it that, but it's actually just getting put really far forward. So normally there you have to spawn like at the ship and then dash chain all the way to the door, but that warp saves 15 seconds, I believe, or maybe it's like 12.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to get, but you don't lose too much if you don't get it. You just have to dash over there. And then sometimes there's a checkpoint that you get to.
And right now we're just like, we're at a section of this game that we don't usually like because it's just, we just kind of have to sit through it, sort of. It's a more relaxing part of the run because we have to just wait for all these enemies to just spawn in. We can't make it go any faster. So yeah, for the next 3 minutes or so, we're just gonna, just gonna be chilling, kind of.
We could vamp for a little bit. You know, it wouldn't be a Ratchet and Clank game if it didn't have an arena-like segment, right? Where you always have those segments where you go, you do some battle, get some rewards at the end, maybe some upgrade materials and all that. But I will take this opportunity to say that Rivet is great.
Rivet is great.
I agree.
I want to see like whatever the next entry for the game is gonna be in the Ratchet series. Like I want to see Rivet and Kit return, and like I even was thinking like having a spin-off like what they did with Spider-Man with Miles Morales, having a spin-off like Rivet and Kit. That would be so great.
And you know, Chad, I'm going to ask you as well. There are many wonderful characters in the Ratchet and Clank series, and do you have a personal favorite? You know, I always love Captain Quark's shenanigans and whatever he finds himself into, but there's so much personality in all these games, and I think every single game has a whole bunch of lovable characters in it.
I think everybody's sleeping on Francois. He is green, by the way, even though he's technically our enemy right now. He is green.
Like, who could forget Courtney Gears,
Yeah, there are a lot of incredible characters throughout the entire series.
Yeah, Dr. Nefarious is always wonderful. I think one of my favorite sequences in any of the games was, I forget which one it is. I think it may have been Going Commando or the third one, where you had like little occasional documentary style things with Quark as like behind the blow or something.
Oh yeah,
and it was like this super serious, like crime documentary type thing going into Quark and his downfall. It was just so good.
I love the commentators on Deadlocked. I thought that was always pretty great.
Good job, you did it. Yeah,
I did it, and now we're gonna have to do part 2 of the arena here. That's recorded, but this part's a lot sooner. This is with Francois, my precious boy Francois. I don't want to massacre him, but I have to. The game forces me to.
No.
He's so innocent. I don't want to. But yeah, we can just we don't even have to worry about ammo here. Luckily, we have like just enough to get through it.
Yeah, what is this weapon you're using here?
Yeah, the Shadow Bomb. So I have it maxed out now, so it's like 9. I get 19 in the ammo right now. But yeah, it's just because it's an explosive, it usually deals the best amount of damage. And like later on in the run, we'll be wanting to get the Warmonger, which is kind of like this rocket launcher. And that'll start dealing more damage, but we have to wait until we get further into the game for that. Until then, this is the item that deals the most amount of damage. And it's very helpful because we're just kind of given it in the first level. We don't have to worry about grinding extra resources in order to buy it.
Yeah, it just gives you enough bolts to buy one of 2 weapons, either the Enforcer or the Shatter Blast, and the Shatter Blast is just better by a mile. And what's interesting is that a recurring theme in all the speedruns is that we always buy the Bomb Glove weapon because it does the most damage and it's one of the best. And,
Okay, good. 'Cause I always love the Bomb Glove in my casual playthroughs.
It is the best. I just love the Shatter Blast.
I'm so used to whenever I get some sort of weapon, character, whatever in a game, it turns out it's awful for the speedrun. And then the thing that I thought was awful turns out to be great for the speedrun. So it's nice having it right for once.
Yeah, we use the Shatter Blast for about 80% of the run, and then we still wind up using it in the end game if we ever run out of ammo.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's a game that's focused so much on just like buying different weapons, experimenting with them, and playing with them in your casual playthrough. And yeah, it's like we just basically tend to just 2 or 3 in the entire run.
This is where the fun begins.
Oh, yep, here's the hover boots, guys.
Is this where the game now just gets broken?
Yes. This is the wrench boost.
It is very cool, I think, still that the devs left this in for us. Like some of the casual players were struggling by running into it, and they actually patched a way in that we could still use it without casual people having too much trouble.
So it's like we'll make it a little bit harder or less obvious to do, but
yeah. People were just charging around and wrench swinging on walls and going flying, and they had no idea what was going on.
Oh my.
So yeah, another kind of difficult combat section here where I'm like trying to focus on making sure I have enough ammo at all times, making sure that I can hit all the enemies as fast as possible. And this is where that like Shadow Bomb route that Nautical kind of figured out, helping with the ammo conservation. really kicks in here.
The volley shines 100%. I think my first run that I did, just sort of freestyling the Shatter Blast only, I golded by like 40 seconds off of Clank.
Oh!
Yeah, so
To the next gold bolt, here we go!
So I just went across the map so I can get this gold bolt. So about this level, Savali, there's 3 temples that we have to go through across this level, and Savali's probably the biggest, like, it's kind of like gives us a small open world to go around to do a lot of stuff in. So we're gonna be like zooming around here, and we have to go across the small open world level to go to all of these 3 temples, clear out the enemies, and activate, kind of like free the monks in each of these areas. So yeah, we'll go through a pretty heavy combat section here, but then after this, we're gonna be attempting the hardest strat in the game, which is called Mountain Ascension. Which basically, the last temple is at the top of a mountain, and there's a lot of checkpoints that we have to hit going up along the mountain. So we're gonna try and use a wrench boost and get them all while going at that high of speed that you just saw a minute ago as I went to that gold bolt.
Yeah, it's one of the most challenging tricks in the run, because you really have to be precise with some of your movements and your speed, and like everything has to sort of line up at the same time for it to work. But with enough practice, it is actually very doable.
Which I've put dozens of hours into it, so
yeah, I think all of us, whenever we're warming up or just chilling around, we're always practicing Mountain Ascension.
Yeah, so I'm hoping I can pull it off here in the run.
And yeah, you'll see in this fight, he's just, every box he breaks is always dropping that beautiful purple blob of Shadow Blast ammo.
It feels so good.
And normally we'll have bought the Topiary Sprinkler, which will be the next weapon buy at the sort of end of this play and at the start of the next one. And one of the biggest problems with that is the way the ammo works is sort of based off of like percentage. So if you have 17 out of 18 or 19 Shadow Blast ammo, but you use 1 out of your 4 Topiary Sprinkler ammo, it's a significantly less percentage. So it will always prioritize the Oh yeah, here we go. We're flying now. Oh, it's perfect. And the camera angle. The camera angle. The camera does grab very hard in some of these sections.
Oh, okay, so I hit the proxy kind of well. I had to do a couple IJs there to recover a little bit, but here's the next part of Mountain Ascension is this. And there, I just got like 4 checkpoints in the matter of like 20 seconds.
Yeah, so this saves, I think, 36 was the end, 36 seconds by the end. I can't remember the exact time. But yeah, there are a couple backups to this as well. And then I actually learned your backup for the second part, B-Dud. I know it took me a long time, but I did get around to doing it.
We'll consider it. Oh no, a Zeta virus. I cannot access the terminal without risking contracting.
What's going on here?
We're just waiting for the glitch puzzle.
Well, so we're just trying to get the fastest frame that we could press triangle on to access some of these consoles. So
As I was thinking, like you were cleaning it off a little bit, you know.
no. It's not what you think it is, I swear.
No, I thought like, I don't know, it looked like it was like just covered in something that you were wiping off, so I thought you were just like, okay, I need to, you know, clean it up so we can access it.
Yeah.
So here's another hard trick coming up as well too.
Yeah, so first, we've gotten all of the 3 temples now, and now we have to access the top of the archives. But
don't forget the gold bolt.
Yes, I gotta do the gold bolt here.
To the archives. It is urgent.
Going.
I think I'm never gonna get tired of this.
Straight to the bolt. Some of the gold bolt strats that we do now are so cool, and everything's still recent too. There's always there's been like a strat a week pretty much in this game. With how new this game is, it is incredible. Some of the stuff we find.
So this is archive
nice
skip. Yeah. So we can just go to the top of. You usually have to go through this like 20 second section in order to go through a lot of portals to get into get to the top of the archives, but we just do a wrench boost proxy to get us enough height to get into to get up here. Very, very cool.
We wrench boost point A to point B. You'll see it a lot.
I love how there's so many ammo boxes in this part of the level, so I can just basically spam the shadow bomb here without worrying about losing too much ammo.
Here's another checkpoint restart as well. So
yeah, we restart checkpoint. Ammo. Yeah, we restart checkpoint here to refill on ammo, so we get all 19 of our shadow blasts, and then let me grab that. This guy should. I wanted this guy to jump over here, but he's not.
I totally forgot you could throw your wrench or your hammer as Ratchet or Rivet to pick up ammo from far away. I always thought that was the coolest thing.
Yeah, because that's definitely how wrenches work. We know this.
Yeah.
Anybody who's played Ratchet and Clank know that. Yeah, this is realistic wrench physics.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I'm glad such attention to realism is present here.
So I just utilized all of my ammo perfectly to the last drop there. As a backup, we just like wrench slam enemies if we have to deal a few extra hits. We restarted checkpoint there for more ammo. And it also puts us a little bit closer. And that's a volley, one of the toughest...
Minor photosensitivity warning coming up. We're gonna hit this crystal at the start of this planet a few times, and it's gonna flash the screen like 4 times.
Yeah, so right here, warning.
The police on it appears to have stored energy from the dimensional rift.
Okay. So we can use the wrench swing combo, bind it to the shortcuts to move during cutscenes, and we use that there to hit the crystal to progress further.
Sorry, one second.
We buy the topiary sprinkler here, so this is our second weapon we're buying. I also changed the graphics mode. A lot's going on right here.
Yeah, now that we actually need the topiary buy for this planet, because one of the fights we're gonna do towards the end, it helps a ton and it saves a fair amount of time. There'll be a couple dropships, and we have to basically blow the dropships up before they leave, or else we have to wait on them, and you'll see that. And then it also is a good time to start leveling it up for some other tricks that we'll do later in the run. Plus, it applies a debuff, so any enemies that turn into a bush pretty much take a bunch of bonus damage as part of the upgrades. So that's one of the main reasons we use it throughout the run.
Yeah, and you'll see me do this right here. So I put the topiary down and gives me, basically does extra damage to anything that's affected.
Yeah, so normally
cool
those
weapon.
goons take 3 Shatter Blasts, but now they're only taking 2. Is it 3 or is it 4? It might be 4.
It might be 4, yeah.
Honestly, kind of cute.
Another thing that you might be noticing me doing is I'm swinging
gold bolt.
Yes, thank you. I'm swinging my wrench back and forth a lot, and I'm gaining a lot of momentum. This is called like backwards wrench boosting, and it's a pretty hard technique to master, but it's like I just did it right there. But basically it's like we're flicking this stick back and forth, and we get like an extra speed boost every time we swing the wrench, basically.
Yeah, so this is that thing where auto pump is required, and it's also slightly faster on fidelity mode with 30 FPS, but not too critical to the run.
I messed up a strat right here. Basically, we can move during that cutscene, and we try and do a wrench boost while the camera is pointed away. We can't move the camera, so it's really hard to tell where we're going. But yeah. Do a wrench boost here. This is something I have been doing kind of recently. But we got a checkpoint there, then we go up here, and just skip another section of the game, and we can just get that checkpoint on the other side of the wall. We get 5 rare titanium here because big bunches of rare titanium is very rare to come by.
Yeah, I think 6 is the biggest bunch in the run, and there's only 1, and then there's, I think, 3 or 4 or 5 bunches. No, I think 4 or 5. Yeah, because there's one on Mega, and then that one. Plus another couple.
Oh, I sizzled.
No.
Oh no.
What's nice about sizzling though is it just returns you to your last location, whereas a death would put you like back to the furthest checkpoint. So sizzles aren't too bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely prefer a sizzle over just a hard reset, hard death checkpoint reset any day.
Oh yeah, so here's another functionality of the PMA coming up. We actually just straight up despawn some bosses. It's not technically a despawn. They sort of get like clipped into a death plane or a wall, stuff like that. But this guy, we're going to, I think he clips into the ceiling, and sometimes he clips through, apparently, which B-Dub found out earlier.
Yeah. So yeah, once the portal comes up and once he does like a little jump, then I'm going to be activating using photo mode abuse to do that. So give it a second there. And now we just wait a few seconds. And now we can exit. And he's gone.
Like magic.
Yes, exactly like magic.
And we do this four times. That one, 2 on Tauren and once on Sargasso 2.
And right now it looks like I'm doing nothing. I'm just hover booting into a wall. But we're just waiting on the dialogue because we have to get a trigger like once the dialogue ends on the way. And then I can proceed up to this anomaly. And now we can skip puzzle again.
Poor Clank.
Yeah, we joke how useless he is in the run sometimes, and it's sad.
Straight up does nothing in the run.
Ratchet and Rivet rift apart.
Yeah.
Clank literally getting carried all game long.
With that fixed, we should now be
Here's another really cool strat right here.
Yeah, so here's so just like Mountain Ascension, this is a hard strat. Not as hard, but it's we jokingly call it all for one skip. But it's like we have to go here, get the checkpoint without touching the rail. We have to alter it a little bit.
That checkpoint is very, very small. It's like threading a needle.
Yes. But yeah, we have to modify it a little bit for all gold bullets, so we can get this gold bullet, then we can restart checkpoint, and it will put us at the top here. And then there we go.
Another super high speed wrench boost.
How much time does that save, just being able to reload that checkpoint?
A ton.
What you just saw in the last minute probably saved like 2 or 3 minutes.
Wow. That's pretty big. Yeah.
Wait, that's probably the biggest time save in the game. Like, because there's so many required triggers in this game, we can't save nearly as much time from a lot of stuff, even with big wrench boosts that we can perform.
Here's our first instance of a good topiary battle right here. It's basically sort of like 3 mini bosses. And then like this first one is kind of weird. It just despawns sort of. We don't actually have to blow it up.
Okay, well it just completely missed it. There we go.
Topiaries do act a little bit weird sometimes.
So then there's a second ship here that comes. I gotta kill all the enemies in here, and then there's gonna be a third ship. Let's get it. There we go.
I think he didn't do enough damage to those ships and then despawn. Nope, that one did.
There we go.
They just disappear. The first
and
one
this
wasn't
once you
despawned.
kill all those enemies, you get this crystal. Otherwise, you often have to wait for the ships to leave, and then it takes like you're just like kind of like waiting for 10-15 seconds. So it's important to kill those guys as soon as the ships before they drop off the enemies, pretty much. There we go. In NG Plus, we have a pretty cool strat here to kill this drop ship like instantly, but it has so much health and we have so little ammo that we have to basically wait for a certain dialogue to pop up, and once that certain dialogue pops up, the ship starts taking reduced damage. I mean, more damage.
Okay, I was about to say.
Yeah, sorry. So once the chief engineer talks right here, hold on, then we can start like damaging it like a lot.
Yeah, normally those shatter blasts would only be doing like 2% damage each, but now they're doing like 25%. Big chunks.
Yeah. Much.
Clearly, just
much
getting
bigger.
the knowledge of the weak points. And knowing that wouldn't be any other reason.
There's actually a couple of bosses that we restart checkpoint right before we start them as well, and it drops their health down by a ton, and we don't really know why.
Really?
You'll see one of it is on our Dolus. We restart checkpoint before this double boss fight at the end, and one of them goes down to like 20% HP after we shoot him. And then one is in NG Plus more specifically, but it drops the heart down to like 36%.
So this is a really hard and cool strat that I kind of just messed up on. But we get
This
two
back is
checkpoints
good.
right there, and then I come up here to get this gold bolt without touching the rail. Well, I just touched the rail. God dang it. Let's see. Now, this is kind of like a backup I'm doing right now. Is like jumping off the rail, and then I come over.
There's so many spots to wrench boost in this general area. I think we have like 6 or 7 different backups for each outcome.
Yeah, so I've just like used those wrench boosts to completely skip the rail section in this level, while also getting the gold bolt. So that probably saved another like minute of time there.
And that's another cool thing as far as like people that are getting into speedrunning this game goes. There's so many different ways to do things and so many different safe strats, and it's just incredible how many different variable options there are.
We got the hurl shot. Now we just have to
Like,
get across
I think Vita did a run where he did no major glitches in NG Plus, and he still got a 138, I think it was, which was only like 15 minutes off of world record.
Yeah.
Or a little more.
Yeah, like no
17.
no major tech, nothing. So all the hover boots, photo motor abuse, all that stuff that you're seeing, I did a run without doing any of that tech, and it took me an hour 38 minutes, which was about like 20 minutes slower than world record. So I mean, for a game that's like an hour 20 minutes long, for the NG Plus section, that's not too bad without using any of the tech. I'm running out of ammo here.
Torin has seen a lot of new strats recently too.
Yeah, so I'm about to do a new strat that I discovered kind of like 2 weeks ago or something like that, which we're basically getting the spy bot here with like no time loss. So we're like, there's about to be like a cutscene that spawns up on the ship, and I can go get the spy bot here.
You didn't get
this is
the rotating.
an
Make sure you
old-
grab it.
Yeah.
Are we
So we despawn the boss here.
Of course. Yeah.
Again, yes, again. Oh, well, I messed that up. There was a way for us to get the gold bolts there with no time loss, but I'm gonna have to go get it right now.
If I never saw a pirate
Yeah, some of these strats are a little bit tight in the timings, but
Yeah.
there's always just cool stuff like this, a wrench boost backup, something like that.
the fixer?
But yeah, with that spy bot and what I was trying to do with this gold bolt was basically using the benefit of the cutscene coming up in like the next like 5 seconds to spawn me back over without
Gotta admit, the
while I'm getting collectible pretty much.
not what I expected.
And you might be wondering, for an old gold bolt speed run, why I had to get the spy bot. And it's for a skip later for us to kind of overwrite dialogue by because once you collect a spy bot, you can go into the menus and play dialogue, and it allows us to overwrite dialogue in one very specific section of the game.
We just despawned another boss, by the way.
Yes.
Blink and you'll miss it.
What are we gonna do with you?
Oh god.
We're in deep trouble.
No.
But there's no point in worrying about it.
There
The
we go.
answer, of
Got the
course.
Should be good. Yeah.
It is plug the heck out of you. Make sure you go follow BDud5. BDud does a lot of, ripped apart speedruns. Surprise. But there's the link in chat. He's awesome and just incredibly skilled at this game, and not just this category, but a whole bunch of different categories. So be sure to check him out.
Yes, I am on
also runs
both,
Horizon.
Twitch and YouTube. I've also been speedrunning Horizon Forbidden West. Fairly new game still, a couple months old, but it's been great. So yeah, go check out some of those runs too if you're interested.
Yeah, one of the lucky owners of the ever so rare PS5, so you can see some of that content.
So the thing I just did is something that we were messing with just last night. So it's a very new thing, but it basically allows us to use photo mode abuse to get off the, have us go faster on the rail.
The timing on that one is also very, very tight. But you can basically land right next to the rail without getting on it. And we do have ways of getting off of the rails by restarting checkpoint and sort of spamming jump, because you get 1 frame to do a jump input. But in most instances like that, it's better to just completely avoid having to do that at all. Because the game actually, the more restart checkpoints you do, sort of the more unstable the game becomes in a way. And you're more prone to sort of game crashes, or what we call black screens, where the game just stays on a black screen for a couple minutes on end. But it's super easy to fix. All we have to do is just close the game, which we don't have to do in any of the new game runs. It's mostly just for NG+, which we do actually have a very specific spot that we close the app in.
Okay. So here's Cordelian, and we've got the CS warp at the beginning here. That gets us over here immediately. And now we've got a very cool strat right now to get the gold bolts here on Cordelian.
Shout out to Mark, greatest strat hunter of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, Nautical found this. Well, not this specifically, but this next part here.
Yeah, I found part 2.
Yeah, part 2 of this. Which it's absolutely insane. I can't believe this, but we basically have to wait on this elevator in NG+, and it's a whole minute of us doing nothing. But we can basically kind of do a sizzle here, and we get out of the elevator, and we can go collect the gold bolts while the elevator is going down.
There's a hard barrier there that you can't see, but we are able to sort of clip through it like that.
So, yep, I'm just going to fall down here and yoink. There we go.
And that saves a ton of time, because normally we have to go way out of our way to get that one during this underwater section. And now we're just going to not be stuck to the Magna Boot section anymore with an IJ. I'll let you focus for this one.
Got it.
Nice, yeah. So we can grab gold bolts from out of bounds, sort of, because the hitboxes on them are massive. And so now, while the elevator did all of its elevatoring, all we have to do is just restart checkpoint, and now we're there.
One thing to note there is that you can't just go down at the bottom of the elevator and get the checkpoint. It's the elevator. The elevator has to actually reach the bottom in order for you to get the checkpoint, which is a little annoying. I just messed up a really cool wrench boost right there, but it's fine. It's fine.
There's about 1,000 cool wrench boosts in this run.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be okay. Yeah, some of the movement on Cordelian is actually incredibly difficult, because it's all tight quarters, and there's all kinds of invisible walls and stuff to get stuck on, but the way we navigate through it is incredible.
So, is that access arm some kind of key?
You would have thought Ratchet and Clank is just F-Zero in disguise.
Yeah. Best thing ever. Right here, we restart checkpoint to make Junkbot get closer, and then we do a dialogue mute on his line there to skip 6 seconds of dialogue on him.
We help him get closer, then we tell him to stop talking.
Poor Junkbot.
But yeah, it skips 7 seconds of dialogue here, which is nice.
And on the other side of the wall, there's ammo that I pick up, and a rare titanium on the other side of this wall that I can pick up. So I can utilize being stuck in the elevator and still get some stuff.
Blink and you miss it. Here comes a guaranteed T-pose. No matter what you do. As soon as we manually skip the cutscene coming up, Ratchet T-poses for like a half a second, and I have a bunch of screenshots of it.
All right, get that print screen button ready. There it is. I saw it.
There used to be, I think, 3 guaranteed T-poses, but now we're down to 1.
Okay, this part right here is really annoying because I have to throw 2 topiaries to try and like get these guys like stuck in grass while I'm going to pull this crank, and if I get attacked like that, it's why can't I attack? Oh, it's because this guy's there. Yeah,
Gotta
so
go
I'm
bush mode.
Oh, this isn't gonna work. Oh, come on. Oh, it worked.
You got this. You got this. You can just keep going.
But yeah, that part is like really like inconsistent. I have to go over there to spawn the dialogue, but then I go in this rift to cut it off. So then I can go back here and
one thing to note too is we're getting a very specific amount of bolts, not gold bolts, but the actual money, the currency bolts, before our Dolus, because we do a new strat where we buy the Warmonger during an auto scroller. And that basically saves us a ton of time, and it's going to be one of our next key weapons that we'll get to use a little bit earlier than we used to before we were able to reroute this.
The Rubion Forge has a clean bill of health now, so you can take over, Ratchet.
Oh yeah, Glitch doesn't have a face when she's a full color like that. I don't know why.
Yeah. There's 3 rare titanium up here that I can get for free. No extra time wasted, and might as well grab these bolts while I'm at it. A good estimate for Cordelian is to be at 17,000 bolts, which I'm at 16,000 now, so if I can get an extra 1,000 within the next...
Yeah, you'll get it in the fight, I think.
Yeah, but basically what we're trying to aim for is 30,000 bolts by the end of our Dolus, which is coming up in about 2 more levels. So we still got lots of ways, but our Dolus, thankfully... Oop, I forgot about this guy, actually.
We pushed the mean Juice Man.
Juice becoming at me.
Yeah, Juice is invincible, but we can use the topiary to freeze him for like 1 second, which usually is enough.
Okay. We have to, so in this part of the route of this game, we have to go through 2 of these rooms and activate consoles in both of these rooms. So one thing that we can utilize is another restart checkpoint abuse. So I turn on that console and it puts me over here, and I can instantly go to the other room. Doggo.
Don't worry, I'm petting the dog, chat.
Hooray. We'll have to take your word for it.
That's one of my channel point rewards on this stream.
I redeem it constantly. Okay.
I have to ask the dog's name.
Arlie. A-R-L-Y.
Okay, so right here we do, basically there's supposed to be an underwater section, but we do a PMA to make it so that we could walk underwater without, so we can move much faster and perform range boosts underwater here, which is very, very helpful. Otherwise you're like glued to this magnet floor with magnet boots.
We didn't know how that worked for the longest time, or like how to recreate it. We were just able to do it every once in a while. And it stumped us for quite a while.
So right here is a very difficult strat that saves a lot of time, if I can pull it off. And it's called door skip, Cordelian door skip, which I have to go in this very particular... I messed that up. Hold on, I'm actually gonna restart. Here, actually, let me focus real quick. Here we go. I have practiced this so much. And then I have to... I didn't get it. But basically, those doors are supposed to open. Like, if I kill those enemies as they're coming out, that door stays open. And then once I pull the crank, I can kind of just go through the door and get the checkpoint immediately without doing any more of the fight.
Yeah, that one is very hard to do on new game categories, and it's set up very specifically. But in NG Plus, we just fire the Rhino twice and it works.
Yeah. Saves a lot of time in new game categories. I would say it probably saves about 30 seconds if you can get that door open. But yeah, you would pull this crank and then you would go immediately to that door and get the checkpoint. Otherwise, like now, we're gonna have to do this whole fight.
There is, Mark did find an out of bounds recently for it, but it is a little bit tricky to pull off. So doing this fight doesn't lose too much time. And then there's gonna be 3 Juggernauts that spawn, and we're just gonna go right past them. Recurring theme of the run.
Yeah, so once that door opens, we can just book it, get the checkpoint, and restart.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, and we can hit that crystal through that glass. Normally, you have to wait for Juice to break the glass for you before you can hit it. But I actually found that on accident. I was just cruising around and I hyper-striked it and broke it.
Okay, now we've got a short little breather again here.
Yeah, I found the Xerkes warp on accident as well. Originally, we thought we couldn't do anything because it would just send us flying into space, but I was trying to show how not to do it on this guide/walkthrough I was making, and I just landed right in front of Xerkes and I didn't know what happened.
Oop, lost a lot of my speed there.
You met me. That went great.
Look, you just had just the right amount of speed. Get over it.
True.
We can get even more speed.
No, just be friendly.
We could always get more speed.
And don't overthink it.
So
Hi, Ratchet. I'm ready.
this is a pivotal part in the story of this game, where basically we go fight Nefarious, and then Emperor Nefarious comes into the plot. Actually, let me go back real quick. It's gonna be better if I upgrade my Topiary so I can get some extra damage real fast.
And the ammo too.
So here we go. I do like just one Topiary down and then just blast Nefarious. But without that extra Topiary bonus damage, it would take much longer for him to get to that 80% and all the other phases of this fight. We jump on these rails right here to preserve momentum. We explained this a little bit before, but yeah. Otherwise, that probably saves like
really
5 seconds.
really slow on those rails. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you do with the Emperor?
Easy time save on those rails.
It's pretty funny sometimes too. We can go and wrench boost and then hit a rail and just go flying through the rail with way too much speed. And that used to be one of the ways we did the early Torn rail strats. It was really hard to control some of it sometimes.
Right here, we restart checkpoint to abuse Nefarious being like out of his bubble and being able to take damage along with the grunt through right here.
If you don't do this fight fast enough while he's bushed, it actually soft locks.
Yeah.
There is a number of soft locks you can do in this game if you do the fights like in a really weird way or too fast.
Come on, Nefarious. There we go. And we have to go do some gold bolt challenges. The name of this challenge is actually called Bug Tracks Done Quick.
I wonder if they were referencing anything.
I wonder, yeah. So yeah, we have to just spend a minute going through these rifts and portals with a Speedle. Not too difficult, but there is a part that's very annoying that you might not get enough speed off of a ramp, so we kind of like bob and weave. It's after this next portal right here. We bob and weave right here, so we make sure that we don't that we get enough speed going off of the ramp there.
Yeah, if you have too much height, you actually will just fly straight over that other ramp that's there and hit the wall on the other side.
Such a neat segment, though. Just like going through all the portals and like the environment changing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have 2 arena matches here that we have to do for gold bolts. So we've got this, and then one section after this where we basically just kill like 50 enemies being spawned by waves, similar to what you saw previously. We actually run the Speedle into these crates to get some extra bolts, which is yeah, it's
like thanks for your service later.
Yeah.
It's a noble sacrifice. The explosive crates give a ton more bolts than regular crates do. So
yes.
We try to take advantage of that whenever we can.
And yeah,
And
just
you
like
might-
before, we can't really speed this up any faster than the rate that they spawn at.
You might be a little bit under bolted. You might be okay actually.
That definitely is a number of bolts.
Yeah. I think he's good. Like 21 to 22,000 leaving, because there's 2 fights on our goal list before we do the new strat that saves a ton of time, and I think we get about 10,000 volts between them both, but I'm not. It's a little bit random.
Yeah. I do have a backup spot though that I can get more bolts if I need to. That doesn't waste. It doesn't waste much more time. Like only like a few extra seconds, pretty much. If I know that I don't have enough bolts by the time we usually buy our weapon at. So we're almost done here. I need to remember to get the other gold bolt that's in this level. That's not part of an arena challenge. I forget it too often.
Yeah, it is an easy one to forget. That's why I usually grab it on the way into the planet.
Yeah, and usually I do that, but yeah.
It's better to get it on the way back, I think, but it's just easier to remember it on the way in.
Mm-hmm. And it is a pretty hidden gold bolt. Like most of the gold bolts, it's just like usually you have to do like a challenge, or you can like see it on like this high pivotal point, and you have to go find it. But this one's like pretty hidden actually. Like
Yeah, you do have to look
under
for this one.
here. I guess there is kind of like a little section for the magna boots that you're supposed to be doing, but we just like ignore the magna boots. And I can do a restart check. Okay, well I didn't get the right checkpoint, so I have to go all the way back. It was supposed to spawn me at the ship. But that's okay.
Yeah, the other method of doing it is you go straight there, and then when you restart checkpoint, you're right back at the ship after you grab it, and then you just wrench boost straight over to the front door.
Okay, now the infamous Ardolus. Okay, so I'm gonna do this new spot that I've been practicing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, dang it.
Oh, it's the same lamp. The lamp always haunts us.
The lamp. But yeah, I was almost able to pull all that momentum through over to this spot right here. Kill these enemies, and now we have a very hard strat right here, which we call base boosted.
Base boosted.
I did not get enough speed there. Hold on.
Yeah, all the movement on this planet is incredible.
That's not enough speed. Hold on. There we go. That should be good.
Yeah.
Boom. And I can just go out of bounds and get a checkpoint on the other side of the wall here. And there we go. We just skipped that whole combat section in that previous room.
And there is a way to actually do that whole out of bounds bit without a wrench boost or a charge booting too. That was the old way we did it.
I'm doing another dialogue mute here on Pierre, and this saves like 20-30 seconds, I think, after this combat, and gives us the checkpoint basically immediately. Very, very nice. I'm also going to set up a topiary there to start killing those enemies while I grab some raritanium up here. And then continue the fight. I'm also going to grab some extra bolts right here. There we go.
Oh yeah, you'll have plenty of bolts for sure.
Oh yeah, I think I'm pretty ahead, actually. And this is the last ship. Okay, perfect. Just enough ammo. So we crank this, and because of that dialogue mute, we get the checkpoint instantly right here instead of having to wait so long. And then we can do a wrench boost right here.
What about you?
Still
Get the
hasn't
gold
gotten
bolts.
old.
Oh no, no! Oh, that was
no, the
actually
fish.
almost so perfect. That's okay, I
don't-
can use a backup right here.
We don't like fish here.
We don't. We kill fish whenever we can.
Beetle might appreciate getting out of here.
Yes, it remembers us.
I don't know why my brain did this, but I was like, oh shoot, he's gonna have to go pick up those 26,000 bolts where he died. It's like, no, this isn't that type of game.
Oh, no, it's not. That would,
That would
suck.
be painful.
Yeah, sure.
There
would.
is a bolt multiplier in New Game Plus, and if you die, that multiplier goes away and takes forever to grind back up. So,
I think it's if
it's
you
kind
get
of
hit.
similar.
Right? If you get hit, the multiplier goes away. But we're
Yeah.
invulnerable with the gold bolts.
Yeah, because once we collect, this is where we use the spy bot, by the way. This saves 25 seconds because we can just mute this guy's dialogue with the spy bot. Just this pirate, the middle one here. All these other pirates can talk, but only the middle one gets silenced.
And it saves, the middle one talks the most, so it saves like 26 seconds or something like that. Something crazy.
Yeah. But what I was also about to say was, when we collect enough gold bolts, once we get to 24, we can actually turn on infinite health and infinite ammo as a cheat. As a cheat code that we get as a reward for collecting all the gold bolts, or most of the gold bolts. Oh yeah, I have a new strat thing that I'm supposed to do here.
Oh yeah. You're good because you restarted checkpoint.
Yeah. So, normally there's we do an out of bounds trick to get a checkpoint instead of taking this elevator, but it actually makes it so that we can't. The glitch puzzle kind of like glitches out, and we can't get like the gold bolt unless we access it twice. So what we do is take the intended route, so we only have to do this glitch puzzle right here
Help
once
us get that gold bolt.
and get the gold bolt right away.
And Mark did
yeah.
find a really crazy way to actually deload like half of the textures on our goal list to where we could just go into that little tube that the gold bolt is hiding. But I don't think we're able to utilize that in the run. At least not yet.
But don't worry.
No, Chad, I am not going to make B-Dud sing the shanty.
No, he has to sing the song at the end.
Yeah, I always give a little sing along with the shanty there with the pirate trials whenever I'm usually running this game.
You glitch.
Excellent.
It's funny. So we got the gold bolt here. I think that's all the gold bolts on our duel list.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
those
doing
are
a
two.
new skip here. It's called Crank Skip. It actually saves it saves a lot of time, especially for something that we didn't find within like the first few months of the game. It saves like 25-30 seconds.
Looks normal.
It's a little more on new game categories because normally there's this boss fight we have to do and then we have to wait on dialogue, but we're not doing that. And usually the boss fights are pretty tough on new game, but in NG Plus it doesn't save as much because normally we're able to just destroy the bosses super fast. But I think both of them save around 30 to 40 seconds.
Yeah, so basically you have to kill all those enemies, and then once you actually turn the crank, you can't crank the crank beforehand. You have to do it right here, and then you can restart checkpoint without facing that boss or any of that. So
So yeah, we just despawned another boss.
yeah, pretty much.
I've lost count.
I looked away for a split second and the boss is gone. Gosh darn it.
If there's three things we don't like in this run, it's bosses, rails, and mag ramps.
First.
Little wrench boost right there, and there we go. So this is, other than the arena, this is the other part of the game where we can't really make it go any faster. We're just here for a few minutes, killing enemies as they spawn and progress. So yeah, we're just chilling for the next couple minutes.
Good. Well, while we're chilling, I think maybe we can give some new viewers another explanation of why the game may look a little bit different tonight.
Yeah. So as you've noticed, everything's special colors right now, and we're utilizing the accessibility features that Insomniac has provided for us in this game to make it look this way. We can highlight enemies to be a certain color. I've chosen pink. And then every interactable item that you can mess with, ramps that you can gain speed off of, swing shots that you can use to fling yourself, things that you can hit and they'll shoot cannons. All those interactable stuff you can, they're all purple. So if you have a question about like if something's interactable or not, accessibility features can help you there.
You can also change the
course,
color of the border around all her enemies and yourself as well, characters in general.
Yeah, kind of gives it a little of a cel-shaded vibe, a little bit like Borderlands, not entirely though. But yeah, like if you look closely, you can see that there's a black border that I've put on Ratchet here. Yes.
That sounds
Yeah, this is just a tiny amount of the accessibility options we saw demonstrated for the run. There's just so much you can do to just customize the experience for yourself.
And right here, I have just the right amount of bolts. So I'm doing this. This is basically where we're gonna buy our third weapon in the run. So I'm gonna
We're just gonna go back to the start of the planet casually.
Yeah, just casually go back to the vendor here while we're waiting for the game to progress over there. And I can buy the Warmonger here.
Where is that ship going?
Perfect amount of bolts, pretty much.
So yeah, there will be a checkpoint that shows up on the right once Quark says a certain dialogue line, and then all you
Right
have to do
there.
is just restart checkpoint.
And boom,
And
no time loss. Oh,
But yeah.
I do have a little bug right now, though. It's the... Hold on.
weapon wheel.
Yes, the
stuff.
weapon wheels thing.
That's a thing.
I didn't get enough height there. I can fix it, though, at the end of this level, but I can't actually use the Warmonger right now because of this little bug. But basically, it's like I'm only confined to the Shatter Bomb right now. And it's basically when you kind of restart checkpoint whenever you're on like a triangle input, because that kind of, since triangle input is for the weapon wheel, it kind of like overwrites the weapon wheel, so I can't bring up the weapon wheel right now.
Is it stuck, or is it? Can you restart checkpoint and fix it?
Might be able to-
You could just close app whenever you get another checkpoint.
Yeah.
And it'll put you right back.
There is another fix where I can just go up to Mrs. Zircon, because it has the triangle input there, and it'll just automatically fix it once I
Oh,
go up
yeah.
to her. So I know that there's a Mrs. Zircon vendor right at the end of this level that I can
Yeah.
quickly go to.
Well,
Yeah, I did not
you
know
need the
about
Warmonger.
Mrs. Zircon, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, the Zircon is the greatest weapon. The best.
I
spot,
remember the
of course.
Mr. Zircon from earlier games where it's just taunts your enemies, and oh, it's so good. I'm assuming this
but
one
we
does a
have the
similar
whole-
thing.
The whole Zircon family in this game.
Yeah, so we do an RC here to usually, like Nautical was saying earlier, that the boss should be at like lower health here by doing an RC here. Don't know if it'll work in this case particularly. Oh, it kind of does. So
Yeah,
like
no,
just jump to...
The Topiary and the Warmonger there drops them all the way down to 20%-ish HP. But they are weaker because of the checkpoint restart, so normally he wouldn't be doing this much damage.
And normally I would be using the Warmonger and Topiary in this fight too, but I can't right now because of that little bug. Which is fine. It'll only happen for this fight, basically.
We're seeing the rare case of using the wrench
Yeah, this
Take
is what
out
wrench
Blanche.
only looks like. Just basically, just slamming at the enemies, and that is
Is that a
real
category you're familiar with? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real category. It's an extended category. It's not like on the main boards.
And one of the
Are
ones
you
I hold
familiar
world
with it?
record
I
for.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a run in it. I think not.
We raced it together, and I got world record in that race.
Does that still stand?
Yes, currently. By 2
congrats.
minutes, I think. I think we're all really close, like within 2 minutes of each other.
That's wonderful.
The weapon wheel has been fixed. We are good.
Hooray!
Hey.
So we didn't get all the gold bolts on Sargasso 1 because now we have charge boots. So now we're just gonna get them even faster.
What do you mean? What do you mean even faster?
Even faster.
What does this mean? I'm scared.
Oh, I need a restart.
Yeah.
I actually need to upgrade some stuff.
One thing that's pretty cool that you'll see us doing is the topiary debuff that allows us to do more damage actually does affect weapon leveling. So if we warmonger an enemy that's topiary, you'll kind of see the experience in the top right go up by a huge chunk. And so we can kind of power level this to get it to its strongest level before the last level. Or like the final fight area. So yeah, in just this one fight, it's already at like 75% to level 2.
By the way, say hi to Kit.
Okay, so right there we just got like 3 checkpoints.
Yeah, that movement through there is very restricted by the checkpoints, but is always really nice and clean to see.
And Sargasso 2, this level, is very like combat heavy focused. It's not too long either. It's only usually like 5 minutes long.
Let's keep following Maynard.
Which most of these levels do tend to be the same length, which is nice. Ardulus, the last level, that was like over 10 minutes though, so that was the longest level in the game.
And the fight will start going our way. It will.
So it's nice. It's kind of weird having the longest and shortest level kind of in the game, kind of back to back. I guess this isn't the shortest level in the game, but it's pretty up there. So normally, I completely forgot, actually. There's like a CS, there's like a despawn that we could have done for the boss here, but it's like super hard. So I normally don't think about it.
The timing on that one is very tough. You can actually get them to like jump into the acid and die too, though. So sometimes that happens, sometimes not.
Yeah, so what I have to do now is go retrieve more ammo for this boss, because he takes a lot of damage.
Yeah, before we rerouted, we actually had to do this fight with only the topiary and the shatter blast, and it took ages. But now with the warmonger, it's much faster. So missing the despawn is not the end of the world.
Thingamajigger.
Yeah.
Just like come. I am looking forward to examining it.
Skip another puzzle.
Not exactly a
And then we do a little wrench boost here. Oh, didn't get a lot of speed. Hold on.
not exactly a straight line.
There we go. We just skip all that and can get a checkpoint here. It's really nice, even though it's a game with a lot of required triggers, we have a lot of like short skips everywhere scattered throughout this game.
Yeah, it's this game being as new as it is, it's always changing too, which is incredible. We always find new things, and it's very cool to see it. It's come a long way for sure.
We're now on Trudy, and we're doing this section where we're going to have to destroy these 4 ships. This first ship we can destroy just by shooting at it, but then we restart checkpoint to make the other ships spawn their shields faster, because after the first ship blows up, the next ships will spawn their shields. And what we can do is shoot the shields to spawn some hits dialogue right here faster. And a new thing that I've incorporated is getting this gold bolt while on Trudy. So we can just come over here, whoop.
And we don't have to watch the animation of picking up the gold bullet anytime we pick it up on Trudy or Spiel as well.
Yeah, so that saves like that saves. I don't know how long the animation is, but just like
it's very close to the way we get it. We actually can get it with the Speedle on Sargasso 1. I think with Trudy it saves a little bit more time though. So probably like 6 seconds over that method.
Okay. And now for the rest of Sargasso, we're gonna get the other 2 bolts on this level. We didn't get this in Sargasso 1 because we didn't have hover boots then, but now we do, so we can do stuff like this.
Even faster, whoosh! And that pathing right there was specific too, so that when he restarts checkpoint, he's right in front of his next wrench boost spot.
And I can instantly get this ramp and get this one. So you're supposed to get this one with Trudy, but I'm deciding to ignore that, so I can so I don't have to waste all the time of going through like the Zerp Stones quest and getting to be able to fly with Trudy outside of that mission.
Yeah, and you can with like a perfect wrench boost, you can fly through that ring and go all the way back to the ship and land right in front of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was not able to pull that off.
Yeah, that one's very tough.
No way. It must be
Okay.
nefarious. The
Now we're on
owners of the
Savali
dimension,
2.
Correct. Yeah.
There's 1 gold bolt in this level. I'm gonna spend a second to upgrade all my stuff real fast. There we go.
To what I was saying.
Oh, and those button prompts too, like the square for the bolt crank or the triangle to open the vendor, those aren't normally that large, but it is one of the features. And I believe even the riffs normally don't have the L1 prompt on them either, but with the features too, they also. Wow, that's the earliest I've ever seen that cutscene.
Yeah, so that's yeah, I purposely like made sure that all the button prompts and like the biggest like the subtitles, like when I aim stuff, I have the customizable aiming colors. I tried to utilize all the accessibility features that we can utilize in the run and have displayed that doesn't actually like put the run at a disadvantage at all. Which there's a lot that won't put it at a disadvantage, which is really, really great.
Based on the structural norm.
There's also some nice quality of life features you can change, like screen shake. Some weapons will shake the screen a ton, and it can be a little bit disorienting. So you can turn that. I think that's even adjustable, like on a 0 through 10 scale. And then the phantom dash effect, you can actually disable. They actually patch that in too, which is really nice. And there's just all kinds of different things. I can pull them up here actually. I've got the sheet. Like motion blur. One of the things I haven't seen was bloom. And when we have the Rhino in G+, it like flashes the screen pretty hard sometimes, but that's like the only complaint I've had so far. Yeah, like screen shake, full screen effects, film grain, chromatic aberration, all that sort of cool stuff, motion blur. And then yeah, we have the waypoint display always on. We actually use that in one of the strats. We go out of bounds and we sort of glide towards that waypoint, so we get to use it a lot as just an indicator of where to go when we can't really figure out exactly where to go.
Okay, so here we've got this little boss here. So I've set up 2 topiaries, and then I just alternate between the Warmonger and the Shatter Bomb, and both of the topiaries will kind of like alternate to have us do more damage to the boss. So I'm actually messing this up a little bit, but that's much faster than if we didn't have the topiaries or the Warmonger or Shadow Bomb. So we utilize all 3 weapons there. In this next section, we'll have to go between 3 pressure plates, and the pressure plates are a little bit timed, but we maximize the amount of time between like getting to the pressure plates, so we don't have to wait at all. So you'll see here after the first pressure plate, it'll go white. That means it's done, and I can do a wrench boost here. and the pressure plate is not up yet. It's down. Now it goes up. Now I can stand on it. So
This is
if you're
another
too
good
fast-
use of the waypoint here too. The waypoint pops up when the pressure plate's active.
To help him find the map.
So you know you're done and can move on.
Yeah.
Thought you said this was the way out. It appears to be.
Yeah, so you'll see the waypoint go away here. Yeah, right there. Oh yeah.
Don't forget the
Actually,
gold ball.
yeah, there's a new strat here with getting the gold bolt out of bounds that I'm gonna do.
Take a violence bout.
New as in, I think a day old, 2 days.
Yeah.
We
There's a
love
lot
seeing
of-
new stuff. Yeah, this is great.
Guess we have to go down, huh?
There's a ton of rocks around the outside of Savali. You could just fly straight through.
Okay.
There's a barrier there for some reason also.
Yeah, why is that barrier there?
we don't know.
But yeah, I can just get this gold bolt from, it just barely lets me get it. And then I get the checkpoint also that puts me at the entrance to the catacombs, which is great. Really cool strat. Get 3 rotating there, spawn the cutscene. And
for
now what we
catacomb
have, yeah, what we have here now is catacomb skip, which I don't think it saves like massive amount of time, but it saves 10 seconds instead of taking like the speedle route optimally. But we're just gonna skip it all entirely
I think
if
we
I
timed
actually
it to
performed it well.
13. But yeah, this one is definitely one of the tougher ones as well. There's a bunch of death barriers and all this other stuff we have to avoid.
There's a checkpoint. There's a
Oh yeah, and
checkpoint.
there's 3 checkpoints we have to get here as
And
well.
there's a checkpoint.
Very clean.
We made it.
Hey, it's
Okay.
the monks.
Now we've got the skeleton grunter fight.
If you hold them all, we're on it.
Let me at him.
Oh yeah, and then some of these fights we stage perfectly, so our XP on the Warmonger is gonna level up here. Well, actually, we do this fight fine. Some of the fights we have it to where the Warmonger will level up mid-fight, so we get a bunch of ammo and stuff like that. And you can choose not to use it to actually sort of save that level up to get the ammo refresh in some instances. I've been experimenting with doing it at the end fight so that we get a ton of ammo.
I will retrieve the map as quickly as I can.
Here's another Clank puzzle we're just gonna skip.
Okay, hi Clank, hi Clank. You exist. We acknowledge you.
And I wanted to reiterate, so that catacomb skip that we did, that was 10 seconds, and then the thing that we found this week, that with the getting the gold bolt out of bounds, that saves 6 seconds.
Hey, Zordoom.
And now we're on Visceron, the second to last level, and the last level for us to get. Oh, well, that's unexpected. That's not supposed to happen. This is the last level where we can get gold bolts on.
Has to be where Ratchet and Clank are being held.
Yeah, we should have 3 gold bolts left, and we're gonna get 2 of them really early in the level, and they're gonna get us some cheats that we get to use in the run. That basically give us invulnerability and unlimited ammo, which makes the rest of the run pretty easy. And that's one of like the biggest things that separates the late game between AGB and any percent, because in any percent, a lot of the late game struggle is having ammo, whereas in AGB it's much nicer because we have unlimited of that. Okay. So you'll see him, he's about to grab the 24th gold bolt here, and then he'll turn on those 2 things.
Oops. Yeah, so this should be the 24th one. And now I can go to collectibles and turn on infinite ammo and infinite health, which is very, very nice.
And that's unlocked by once you obtain 24 gold bolts.
Yep.
Yes.
You unlock 1 cheat with every gold bolt, but it goes by count, so it's not tied to the specific gold bolt. That we
Okay.
Prisoners.
It's like any 24, you can skip any one, it'll give you the same thing there. That's cool. That is nice.
It is real nice. And yeah, as you're collecting all the other gold bolts, there's a lot of other rewards and for like changing your wrench.
Big head mode. Woo!
Yeah, you can have like big head, little head mode. You can turn on like different rendering settings so everything can be like pixelized. Really cool.
Yeah, there is a ton of customizability. And then on that note too, there's a bunch of armor stuff that's another collectible that you can get. And all that stuff gives bonuses, but it's not tied to the armor itself, which is really cool. So you can wear whatever armor you want and you'll still have the bonus. So you don't have to wear a specific armor set to have those specific bonuses. So everything is like super nice cosmetic wise, and you can change so many color variations of everything too. It's very in-depth.
In this room, you have to kill just 2 of those sniper bots in order to get those last ones to spawn. And then you just have to kind of get the cutscene here. You have to kill all 3 of these enemies, get this door open. I usually check my rare titanium here to see if I have enough. 15's usually where I want to be before I spend it.
I think I thought 23 there.
Yeah. So we're well enough ahead.
That's the warden's office.
Then I do this little tough trick.
Get closer and go from there.
DN skip.
DN skip. Cool.
Only following.
So our Warmonger's at level 4 right now. We'll get to level 5 and upgrade to max by the end of this, by the start of next level. This is a new strat right here that was found a week ago. Saves like 9 seconds, which is, yeah, pretty massive for the game. Because, yeah, we don't usually come across those big time saves in NG Plus at least, because we can apply that strat to NG Plus, which everything, we've kind of optimized NG Plus to as well as it possibly can be now. I mean, there's still stuff that we think we can utilize.
Even the Ardola stuff we found within the past month still saves another 30 seconds. So, like, we're still finding stuff all the time.
I actually made a slight mistake. I need to go back.
Oh, you that one even got past me.
Don't mind me. This is our last gold bolt.
Okay, I think every one of us have missed that gold bolt, so there's nothing to worry about.
But there we go. We've collected all the gold bolts. Now we just got to finish the game.
All right, GG.
Woo.
Sorry, that's 1 G. You get the other G once time stops.
Oh, I see.
It's good so far.
Finally, we're gonna get you out of here. There has to be a way to stop your cellar.
We gotta just wait for this for the elevator to go all the way down, and then we got this thick gas segment where we're just gonna kind of wrench boost through the entirety of all of it.
Say something. I am.
Mark said the gold bolt, run away. Yeah, I think that one's
good.
Definitely number 1.
Big shout out to Mark, by the way. He's Mark right there in chat. He's found a lot of these strats in this game.
That's our Mark. That's the one right there.
He's been
Thank you,
great
Mark.
help.
He even did the 100% entire route, which was incredible.
She seems to deeply regret it. Now keep moving.
So here, yeah, we're just speeding through right here.
Very fast.
This is obviously not an intended speed, right?
No, that's totally intended.
The game actually tries to slow you down there in some parts, but we just sort of, and this part too, it tries to give you slow motion, but we're just too fast.
Way too fast. Ratchet's the new Sonic.
Now, if Sonic had hover boots on the other hand, that would be a whole nother story.
So I have a
ready
very
for the mod.
particular pathing with this fight. You can't just kill, you have to kill specific enemies to start spawning the next wave of enemies. So I prioritize some enemies over others, such as
Is
these.
it consistent?
Yes, it is
Yeah.
consistent. I prioritize these sniper bots to spawn the last flying enemies, those guys up there and to the left. So yeah, I need to make sure to kill these guys first above anything else. And now everything else should start spawning in.
And this fight is also one of the much more difficult ones to do in 80% because of how narrow the ammo is.
There we go. That's all of them.
I think that was all of
Yes, it was shredded. So now we've got this final little thing here before we end the level with these two boss ships here. Yes, guard escorts. That one goes down really quickly. Then I topiary this one.
The topiaries sometimes have a mind of their own. They'll
Yes.
just start sprinkling things behind you.
There can be slight RNG with those.
Use that crank to pull the cell back toward us.
And there's Viscerin. Now we've got one more level of the game.
Woo! Home stretch.
It's the home stretch.
Can't believe it's already been an hour and 40 minutes. This has been flying by.
A lot of cutscenes right here. It's gonna skip all of them, miss out on all the narrative.
Just keeping it a spoiler-free run.
Go to Mrs. Zircon for the final time to get my final upgrade. I actually don't have level 5 Warmonger, which is sad. So we're not gonna utilize Mrs. Zircon there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think in that auto scroller section where the cell's moving. Is
Yeah, I
where
usually-
get my final.
Yeah.
Snipers! How's it looking up there?
But we can still do a lot of damage, even with level 4 Warmonger upgrades. But it probably will lose us like 5-10 seconds maybe over the course of this level.
Yeah, the V5 upgrades have like micro rockets that do just a little bit extra damage. Plus, I think there's a couple on hit damage upgrades, if I remember right.
There we go. Once I see the loading icon in the bottom right, well, there might be more enemies. So I think that's it. Okay,
I think we
now,
got 'em, yeah.
now I
There.
can restart checkpoint to get the spawn the cutscene faster.
What's your move, Nefarious?
Not too bad. Gotta wait for. We can't do anything on this Trudy section. We just gotta wait, fly it out.
We need your help.
But then we fight the power suit of Nefarious, and this goes through a couple of phases. So here's the first phase. We just do the Shatter Bomb and the Warmonger. We don't do Topiary because that makes him go back into his portal. It like does this animation, so it's faster to just do that. Which he still went in the portal there, so that wasted a couple seconds.
You
But
hit 1% off. 75% is normally when he goes to the
Yeah.
next phase. Yeah, the topiary hit gives like a staggering effect that I guess sort of overwrites his phase.
yeah, it like cancels out his animation, like sets up a new animation for him to go back in the portal, I guess.
This is not good. Everyone, shoot those monitors!
So if we just keep on damaging him like this, he'll just keep on trying to attack us and won't go back in. Well, sometimes he'll go back in.
There are set health points that he will retreat like that. I think it's 45%, 25%, and then 15% maybe.
There we go.
This fight is very fun to do in wrench only.
Oh yeah, I
Because he's
think
really far away.
totally doesn't take a million years. But yeah, like in wrench only, you have to throw your wrench at the hand here, and like every wrench does like 1% or less damage.
Less.
So
It's like a half
You're
a
here for a
percent.
while.
Oh no.
And there's a spot you can IJ to as well that lets you stand like right next to his head when it pops out. And I think I used that in the world record run, but it only saves like a little bit.
Oops. Well, messed that up a little bit. Thankfully, I have IJs to back me up, so I don't have to restart from checkpoints. Infinite jumps for the win.
So for this heart fight, there's a couple big red nodes. It's kind of hard to see because it's all pink, but the big circles on the heart are sort of like crit points, and we can throw a wrench at them to do a big chunk of damage.
Yeah, like there's another one. They kind of look like, yeah.
Yeah, you can, if you restart checkpoint and then hit all 3 of those, I think it gets them down to like 54%. And then we just spam them for the rest.
Okay, here we go. We're about on the last checkpoint. Here we go.
And this fight is actually easier than all the other fights before it because we just shoot him with the Warmonger Master Fury, and he takes a bunch of damage.
Gotta wait for all these guys to just jump out of the portals. The only way to speed up this fight is by damaging the Farius when you can, pretty much. And then at the end, the later half, just killing all the enemies as fast as possible. But right there, yeah. So I'm trying to hit him as fast as possible here. There we go. And he stops at like 1% to 5%. Then I just gotta wait for the last set of enemies to come out of the portal here in front of me. And then after all those guys are spawned, then just clean up all the remaining enemies around. Which these guys in the air will just keep on spawning until you kill the guys that come out of that rift. And then when you hear the "Where are my troopers?" that's all you've are able to do.
That's when you get ready to kill the fish.
Yep, and we have to kill the fish here. There's just fish that come out of the portal and we just kill them. And there we go, time. We have entered the hand and we have gone into the final cutscene. Hooray!
GG, this run was fantastic.
Thank you. It is an amazing run. It's yeah, I've enjoyed running it. It's been almost a year now since the game has come out, and like the community has been great, finding new strats, keeping it just giving so much passion to this game and finding new stuff for the speedrun. Definitely go check out the Ratchet and Clank speedrunning Discord. Like, the community there is absolutely amazing. I would have never imagined of meeting such a great community when I started speedrunning this game, so many thanks to them.
And a huge shout out to the devs too. This game is absolutely incredible, and they were in touch with us with a lot of stuff and leaving some of the, obviously the wrench boosts and everything in, and patching some stuff in that helps the run is absolutely incredible.
Yes, definitely. Insomniac has done an amazing job with this game. And with all the accessibility options, everything that they've included with this game. Like, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you for like showcasing like the whole run with that high contrast on. That was like really cool, and just showing that you could speed run this game perfectly fine, and have so many options available to you to make things easier for you. That's what today was all about. So B-Dud, thank you so much for coming on and showcasing this today. And of course, Nautical Turtle, I've enjoyed your commentary all run long. So excellent work, both of you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and be sure to go follow B-Dud. He does a lot of not just this category, but other categories of Rift Apart. Put the link in there. So you'll probably see it before you hear it because of stream delay. But there it is. Make sure to go check him out. He's great. And
Thank you.
I can't believe it, but we are at the end. We have made it through all the runs here that we had on the schedule for the accessibility showcase, and
I guess it's time to go home.
I want to thank everybody who was involved and came out today. So if you came in late, I highly suggest you check out the VODs earlier on, because I truly think basically every game we had on today was super entertaining, and the runners were all wonderful. And this is just a small subset of games that, put a huge focus on accessibility. Obviously, we don't have time to showcase every game that does this well. This is just a small amount of the ones that do it super well. And this is something I think is very, very important, not just for speedrunning as a hobby, but for the games industry as a whole. I think moving forward in this direction to be more inclusive, just from a game design perspective, for people who have a whole bunch of different needs that I think deserve to have a fun time playing video games, speedrunning video games, just anything in general. Just like be open, just spend some time like talking to people and saying maybe not do this or do that, or just include a couple options in there, like reducing screen shake or reducing flashes, and just to be as inclusive as possible. And not all games do this. There are some that are better than others. Some don't put too much effort into it. And I'm just hoping that if people see like the games that we've seen today and just like try to follow those examples, and we just move the industry forward and just slowly get better over time, where this type of feature may in the future be just standard and expected in all video games, like how seemingly common just being able to rebind controls. And that's just a huge step forward that we're finally getting to that point where all this kind of stuff can be expected to be in a feature, a standardized feature in video games. And I think the more companies that go through and do this, the more like indie developers that hire accessibility specialists or consultants, or just talk to the communities and listen to feedback that people have. I'm just so excited for the future of this hobby, and I think we're headed in a great direction. And everybody watching today, I really hope that at least one person maybe learned that, hey, I didn't know that this type of thing existed, and that it's going to help you and maybe get you into speedrunning or playing games you didn't think you could. I really hope we've reached at least one person with this. I'm considering it a success, and just putting this out there and making sure that this is something that people are aware of is very, very important to me. So again, thank you so much, so much to all our lovely runners and commentators today. And of course, I can't not thank Railcoon, who has been in charge of tech all day long as well, because we've been going for about 9.5 hours here. That's a long time. And I know there's been some people who've been here since the beginning, watching the whole showcase, and that means the world to me. And of course, big shout outs to Ray for running the production behind the scenes here. They deserve it. And I could probably talk for hours about this. So just want to close it out here with one final thank you, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something today. And big thanks to GDQ for allowing me to host this event, because this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. So thank you to them for letting me do it. And I hope we get to do something similar to this again in the future. But I'm going to stop talking. I'm done. Just one final shout out to all the runners. And we're going to close it out today. Thank you all so much for watching.